So today we're going to talk about the importance of understanding user needs in the design process. So one of the main reasons that understanding user needs is important when you're going through the design process is so you keep in mind who you're designing for and what goals need to be achieved with the final solution. This helps you kind of center yourself throughout the design process, and you keep that end goal in mind the entire time. So where I learned my understanding of user needs was from my time in school studying product design. That was a huge focus we put on the program, and we were trying to kind of come up with solutions for people's everyday problems and design products to help solve those. One of the main things we had to keep in mind the entire process was that what does the user actually need and what will actually improve their experience. So one step of understanding user needs throughout the design process is identifying the pain points that people are experiencing. This is often done through either interviews or surveys, so you can really understand where are the issues and problems that are coming up as people go through either a service or a product or a process of any sorts. This is really helpful to kind of see what areas can be adjusted and corrected when you're coming up with a solution. So the main point of finding these pain points is that you can keep them in mind when you're going through workshopping, concepting, ideation, and making sure you really think about how you can solve them with whatever you're coming up with. So you start to see an overarching theme of where the major issues are versus where there may be some personalized issue for individual users. And that's where you really get to see some of these insights of like, where is this service broken or where is the product failing people and how can that be corrected in future iterations. The purpose of identifying the problem is so you actually are solving the issues that people are experiencing. Often, if you're just going off of the pain points alone, you're going to start kind of creating patches in a product. And so you're really just solving a lot of small, independent issues that isn't getting down to the core of what people are experiencing. You will get this vast understanding of the actual complex issue that your solution has to be able to fix. And that's where you really get that, if I do this, it will cause this effect and solve this problem. And that's kind of the equation you want to be able to go through for the design process. So by realizing the impact of the end solution when I'm working with users' needs, it really helps me empathize and connect with the research on a deeper level and makes it more meaningful of a process. It also helps me look at how all of the intricacies of what their service or product experience is are all interconnected and how changing one part may affect another. Taking a step in their shoes and really understanding like what does it look like for them and what does it look like for them in the greater scheme of what they're trying to accomplish when using a product or service. So the last thing I have to say on the importance of understanding user needs in the design process is that you really want to focus on your use of empathy when you're going through this process. It's important to take a step back, look at the research, look at the facts, but through the perspective of the end user. What are they going through? How does this affect their life? How does this affect their career? And how is it interconnected with the other aspects of what they're going through in these processes? And it'll really help you be successful in your research when you take all of this into consideration when coming up with a final solution.